Alright folks, we are on the final part 5. This is Max Nolan, now cough-free, recording for MagicStronghold.com. Apologize for the improper audio recording yesterday. I asked the program to upload audio file X, and it gave me audio file Y, which I did not know about. So today is going to be a little more pleasant on the ears. We're going to be talking about something even cooler, which is impressive because we were talking about drafting yesterday. We're going to be talking about Planeswalkers, what they mean, but first off, I want to go over the new Playface. And let me start off by saying I hate change. When they changed the Playface when 8th edition came out, I freaked out, didn't like it, and pretty much anything Magic ever does to change what it was like when I was 5 years old makes me uncomfortable. But I love this new Playface. A lot of people disagree. I think it looks great. It looks great on the Planeswalkers. It looks great on the lands. Just looks great. And more importantly, it also has, you can see this little holographic thing at the bottom. And Wizards' official explanation for this was it makes the rares and the mythic rares cooler. The secret reason is that it helps prevent counterfeiting, which is really important. That's sort of been a big concern this last 6 months. And so now Magic players can feel a little more comfortable acquiring cards from people that aren't just experts at figuring out counterfeits. So it's definitely good for the Magic community. That's the number one thing I like about the transition. But anyway, the Planeswalkers. So I'm going in order of wow factor for me. And we are starting off with Liliana Vess. And this is one that a lot of people weren't super excited about because we had this Liliana Vess for the first time in Lorwyn. She's pretty old news. We were hoping for maybe something really cool under black. Liliana of the Veil would have been a bit of a stretch, but something a little more exciting than this. Thankfully, the card is still good. It's a bomb against control decks. It's possibly a double tutor against anything, which can be pretty good. So it's not a bad card, it's just not the most exciting card. Secondly, we've got Shandra Pyromancer. Again, this is a reprint. However, it's only a 1-year-old reprint. And it's a great card. It's playable in Standard, it's playable in Modern, and it's even playable in Legacy. So printing it again only for the second time, I think is fine. It's not super exciting again, but they could have done worse, much worse. So Shandra Pyromancer back for 1 more year, hopefully just this year, maybe something cool next year, maybe Koth comes back, who knows. Next we've got Ajani. He's the first I'm going to be talking about of the new ones. Now one of the really cool things about Ajani is that he's the first Planeswalker to interact with other Planeswalkers. And that is kind of telling for the future what Planeswalkers might do. It also works really well with your other creatures. Obviously, Ajani, that's what he always does. Really like the fact that he gives the creature Vigilance, which allows the creature to protect him, and it gives the creature Lifelink, which allows the creature to protect you. So that's really exciting. Obviously, the -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Great in a lot of token decks. Similar to Ajani Goldmane's ability, but again, it also helps protect your other Planeswalkers. And the emblem is basically you're going to have a heck of a time trying to kill me. Especially with his first ability, you can just keep gaining yourself life. And in white, you have lots of ways to wipe out massive creatures. You know, it doesn't feel like you win the game, but it kind of wins you the game. And as a 4-mana Planeswalker, I think that's really cool. Jase, the Living Guild Pact. Now, anytime a 2 colorless and 2 blue Planeswalker comes out, it's going to get compared to Jase the Mind Sculptor, which really is just not a fair comparison. But that's just the way it is. This one is obviously worse than Jase the Mind Sculptor. So a better comparison would be to Jase Architect of Thought. And the big difference here is that it puts cards in your graveyard, which is irrelevant a lot of the time. but can also be incredibly relevant some of the time. This Jase would be really exciting in a Reanimator deck, a deck with lots of flashback cards. Any deck that cares about having cards in the graveyard would really love having this Jase. Right now in Standard, I think Jase Architect of Thought is better. But I do think once he rotates out, this Jase is going to definitely challenge for the best control Planeswalker available. It's going to be fighting with Kiora. He's obviously got the benefit of only being one color. I don't know which one will come out on top. The bonus Kiora has is its ultimate is fairly easy to get off. Jase draws you cards, though, without minusing. So it's going to be tough to say. But I am excited for Jase. Excited for what he can do in the new Standard come October. Now, I'm guessing a lot of you thought I was going to talk about Garrick last, but I'm not. Let me just say, this makes up for Liliana. I saw the first 5 Planeswalkers and was like, oh, I only really like 4 of them. And then they give us number 6. And it's not the best. You know, it's probably not going to get played in competitive formats, but it's just such a cool card. It looks awesome. It kills other Planeswalkers, which is something that no Planeswalker has ever been able to do. And that reason alone might make it playable in a competitive format. That one ability, even though it's so limited, it's so unique. And that's Garrick's one hope of competitive formats. You'd also back it up with a very great way of protecting himself. Again, just like a Johnny, a great way of protecting you by destroying a creature and gaining life. That emblem is super cool. That is a commander emblem at its finest. So I'm really excited to do something with Garrick. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's definitely going to be cool. The last I'm going to talk about is Nisa. I'm going to talk about Nisa for 2 reasons. One, it's my favorite. I think that it's a great Planeswalker for green because it makes you creatures and it ramps you. It's sort of like Garrick Wildspeaker, but much better. It's got nice little synergy with its first 2 abilities. It can turn stuff into creatures and then use its second ability to untap those creatures so they can block. You can ramp, like get Nisa out on turn 4 with, or maybe even turn 3 with some ramp. Then turn 4, maybe you cast Tooth and Nail and Twine in Modern. Any green fatness. It can happen on turn 4 or 5 reliably with this card. Its ultimate is whatever, but its first 2 abilities are really great. But that's not even the most interesting thing about Nisa. Nisa and Jase in Magic lore have something in common, and that is they are trying to stop the Eldrazi from taking over Zendikar. That's actually why Jase went to Ravnica, was to find help. Nisa is also traveling to find help for Zendikar. And so the fact that Nisa's back kind of alludes to the fact that maybe we're going back to Zendikar. And that means 3 things. It means another land-based block, which a lot of people really enjoyed. It means more Eldrazi monsters. Lord only knows what those could be. And it means the reprint of fetch lands. And I can't guarantee you anything. I'm not making a promise here. But I actually thought we were going to return to Zendikar in October. That's not the way it turned out. But I do think that this is a sign, a big sign. So October 2015, we could be returning to Zendikar. And this Nisa, hanging out with Jase, could be the big prelude to that. So fingers crossed for a really exciting announcement in the next few months for the next year. For now, we'll just be stuck enjoying these really awesome Planeswalkers in M15. And they're going to be great in competitive formats across Standard, Legacy, and Modern. They're going to be great in Commander. They're going to be great for anybody that likes to have fun. Anybody that likes to play Magic. So this is going to conclude me talking about Magic 2015 and why it's the greatest core set of all time. I still firmly believe that. I've had some people debate me on it, but I really do think it's incredible. Really excited for the pre-release this weekend. Really excited to draft the set, play sealed with the set, and add these cards to my commander decks, add them to my competitive decks, and I think that they are finally on the right track with the core sets, and so this is very promising for Magic Future. So that is all. Thanks for coming to this 5-part series. I'll see you next time.